tonight on the Chillstream. The CIA just puts it right in front of your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. Little Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, looks like he's going to the big house, and Iceland joins the chat. All of that and so much more coming back in 2 minutes. And welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another Monday Night Chill Stream. Make sure to smash up that like button before you leave, and because it helps the algorithm to be pissed off. And I want to keep the Google sensors busy. So another week's gone by. It is, what is today? The Monday, October 30th, right? It's Monday, October 30th, 2023. And you know, as usual, there's enough going on to keep me occupied. There's enough going on. Thankfully, that's positive enough to keep me in a relatively good mood. I mean, I'm doing reasonably well. Other than, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but my job decided, as a cost-cutting measure, they're going to reduce the amount that they pay us for tolls. So I used to get like $140 in tolls to drive down to Virginia, and now they're reducing that to $104. So you know, they're yeah, I think I mentioned that, and I also mentioned that they're not paying us if you take 2 jobs on it, and that's you know, finding that out makes me. I realized that selling that cargo van is probably the smartest thing I probably could have done, because it was a very expensive vehicle to operate. And I don't have pricing power over what I do, not right now at any rate. And so I've got to economize in every way I possibly can, because I don't think, well, I mean, this year's coming up. 2024 is an election year. The economy, I don't think, is going to crash, but I think a lot of people, I think off stage, off to the side, off in the parts of the internet and the media world that people don't see, I think a lot of people are going to be hurt. I think a lot of people are going to get absolutely fucking destroyed, and the media is just going to spin up enough distractions so that you won't notice and you won't care. And that's kind of what I noticed. I don't know if it's just my social media feed or if it's everyone. That's kind of the nature of this thing. It's like you're locked in solitary confinement. What are other people looking at their phones? You know, what's being fed to them. That's kind of interesting. For me, Virgil Doc, Purple Heart. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the show. For me personally, I guess because of the type of content that I tend to look at, these, the algorithm feeds me certain things, and I'm like, well, is that just a random thing that they're serving up, or is it a lot of this red pill stuff? There's so many people like, I'm going to red pill you on the reality of women, and I'm going to, female hypergamy, and I'm going to red pill you on what it takes to be a billionaire, and blah, 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 this, that, everybody's going to drop the red pills. Everybody's going to drop truth bombs, which of course are not truth bombs at all, and don't help you in any way, shape, or form. And this is, a bunch of people I got some videos, like, it's crazy how this stuff just pops up. I'm like, I really think like they're actually fucking with my mind. Like, how could they possibly know that this was on my mind? But again, it may just be coincidence. The first video I got is, I think it's from a TED Talk, right? Those corny, stupid, phony fucking, we're going to bring a super intellectual to put him up on stage on a little headphone thingy, and he's going to tell you why, working a 65-hour work week is good for your health or whatever. Like, here's to explain to you why, if you drink this fucking juice from a berry that costs fucking $200 a gallon, you'll live to be 100. Which, trust me, you don't want to live to be 100. I think that's probably the worst thing you could probably want, because imagine being 95 years old and talking about shit that's happening today. Imagine talking about Joe Biden or fucking the election or fucking like who's gonna listen to you? You imagine yourself in a fucking nursing home, right? And the attendants are around you, and you're like, yeah, Trump, thus and such, and they'll be like, oh, who was it? Hold on, let me look that up. And they'll look up a picture of Donald Trump and go, oh, look at his hair. He must have been lovely. And you'll go like, no, and, you'll be ranting and raving about shit that's 85 years out of date, 75 years out of date. And they'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, they'll wheel you out into the sun till you sit in the sunbeam and take a nap and fall asleep so you don't bother anybody anymore. But you don't want to live to be 100. So, but there's all this stuff like, do you want to live to be 100? Blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I see that because I would look at workout content, I look at Lift Pro stuff, or what, I'm not sure. But in terms of, and I've mentioned this before, either the powers that be are going to wrap you in cotton via your social media feeds, the type of media you consume, or the reality is, even if you somehow avoid being influenced by any of this stuff, or excessively influenced by any of this stuff, that you're going to be living in a world where other people are. So you're going to be walking around in the world, doing business, going to school, family events, et cetera, with people who are not responding to reality. And here's how they do it. When I saw this video, this was really like, kind of a mind blown kind of thing. Here, check this out.
Special effects people, makeup people. We need to hide the true identity of our officers. They said, what you are calling an operation, we call a performance. Working on that performance, we have to define the stage, who your audience is, who are you playing to, who are you trying to fool. Idea of stunt double masks. They're quick on, they're quick off. They dramatically change your appearance and found them to be valuable to our operations. So we went back to our disguise labs out at Langley, and we invented a whole new genre of masks that are so realistic, they're good enough that you can brief the President of the United States in the Oval Office wearing a mask, and he isn't sure if it's you. Those masks were the beginning of a whole new generation of work that we did at the CIA, on and off like a hat.
America, take a good look at your beloved candidates. They're nothing but hideous space reptiles. Those candidates are phonies!
So they got to throw the Simpsons reference in there. But that's, when I saw that, I was like, okay, no doubt that they did that. There's a famous story of, they got the idea in the 70s of those face-like masks from the movie Planet of the Apes. That's where the idea kind of started. And you can see they've kept up with the program, and they're pretty sophisticated at it now. The one of the most shocking things was when you first showed the mask and they pulled on the guy's nose. I don't know if you noticed. He had a yarmulke on. So I'm like, okay, that's putting too fine of a point on it. But it seems like it was too fine of a point. But whatever. Here's another quick 49-second video that ties in with that first one, because he said you could brief the president and the president wouldn't know who's actually briefing him. Well, that street works both ways. All right, so you get the point, right? There's dudes walking around with Joe Biden masks, showing up in, I don't know, are they really traveling to the Middle East? You could see there was Hebrew writing on that, like in a scroll or something at the top, or a banner. You don't know what you're seeing. You have no idea if it's real, if it's not real. There's AI that I saw this thing where people are talking about AI, where you could make a video like I'm doing right now in English. And with AI will rearrange the way your lips look and translate everything in real time into a foreign language. So you could be speaking literally in, 8 or 10 languages you don't even speak, and the AI is going to, 1, translate your English into whatever, and then 2, make it look like you're actually saying those things. So this is, a real important power to keep people in control. But not everybody really not everybody wants to go along with this. You know what I mean? There's enough people pushing back that I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is just they feed this stuff to me for whatever reason, but this was one of the better Instagram videos I've seen. And I'm shocked at who, when you see the guy who's doing who's delivering a message. I was shocked that somebody like this would make a video like this, but still kind of tells you, kind of points to what the gap between what they want you to believe is and what people are actually thinking.
We just sent $100 billion of your tax money to Israel. Yep, your tax money is helping so many people. So you telling me y'all can afford to send 100 billion of them bitches somewhere else? And I can't even afford to fucking live? But your tax money is hard at work for the people. Oh my fucking God, where are my manners, Mr. President? I've been working 60 hours a week every week for my whole fucking life just to blow up a hospital. Good investment. Thank you so much, bitch. I can't even afford to eat a goddamn fucking meal and you talking to me about this stupid shit. Why is this fucking country so selfish? Bitch, let me tell you something. It costs $3,000 to rent a fucking dugout in this bitch. The price of food going up and wages ain't doing shit. But because shit keep going up, not only is the wages not going up, the shit we can buy with them motherfuckers, the amount of things is going to fuck down. Motherfuckers ain't got health care. If I get hurt, I die. Because I can't even afford to die. And you got the nerve to call me fucking selfish, you stupid bitch. Like, nah, let me get this shit straight, though. So you sending hundreds of times the money it would take to fix the problems in this bitch somewhere else to fund a fucking genocide. But because that don't make me want to wrap an American flag around my chest and shit up my fucking back, I'm the one that's selfish?
So that last little bit, where he says that uh, sending $100 billion overseas doesn't make me want to wrap myself in the flag. Yeah, that's talking about funding genocides, right? And all of this stuff. How does it get fixed? You're not going to vote your way out of this. You keep waiting for Hitler to be reincarnated, or Spanish Hitler, or whichever strong man you imagine is going to come in, swoop in, and save the day. That's really not going to happen. I've said that a bunch of times. I just found this. This is a 12-second clip that I absolutely went nuts when I saw it. I was like, what is this guy listening to me? But 12 seconds, it's that to me was particularly enjoyable because it echoes the type of things that I think and say to myself all the time.
There's a moment when every boy realizes no one's coming to save him. And that's when he becomes a man. And some boys never get there and stay children forever.
I always say nobody's coming to rescue you. I don't know who that guy is. He's in some studio somewhere. But when you realize no one's coming to rescue you, you either become a man or you go into a fantasy world. And when I mock people thinking that someone's going to come save you, no one's going to come save you. I mean, if you want to save yourself, you got to do like that guy showed last week. You get a government-backed loan to buy a house. You rent that house out to government-dependent people, and then you live off the difference of that. You do that 2, 3, 5, 10 times, and you'll have a materially successful life. You have to go along with global homo, and you have to go along with a lot of the things you don't really like, but that's what you're going to have to do, because the choice otherwise is to do something with risk. And like I said, most people don't like risk. They don't like risk. They like what's easy. They like what's popular, and they like what they're likely to succeed at. But that's not what changes anything in your personal life. You know what I mean? It doesn't change. I was thinking like I saw like an advertisement for like a cholesterol medication or some shit like that. And I'm trying to think of the last time I had my cholesterol checked. I think it was like, had to be 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Like, I have no idea. I had a heart attack in 2008. I quit smoking in 2010. And I have not had a cholesterol test since. I have no fucking clue what my cholesterol is. I don't know what any of that is. I haven't had a stress test. I don't know what my VO2 max is. I don't have all these metrics. I don't have the money to pay a doctor to give me these metrics. I don't have that, I just have determination, commitment, and a set of weights. You know what I mean? That's what I have, and that's what I've used, and that's worked really, really well for me. And I don't have the stress of wondering, oh shit, are my triglycerides too high or whatever? I just found a way to do what it takes. And once again, that's the mindset of somebody who's a winner, and that's the mindset of men.
I heard this guy say this. It's been like ingrained in my head, so much so that whenever I don't want to do something, this is the actual phrase that comes to my head. Boys are confident, men are certain. The other thing is, he's like, it's not about doing your best, it's about doing what's required. And whenever I have a hard thing, like I'm like, I can make more videos for content or whatever. I don't want to do this podcast or whatever it is. Literally my immediate thought, that's like my subconscious, is like, I will do what's required.
Okay, other than, the bro with the beard and the trucker hat who's saying, whenever I think of doing something hard, like, I don't want to do this podcast. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure podcasting is not the hardest thing you could do in your day. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, filling potholes in the Florida sun in July is probably pretty fucking tough. I'm thinking there's a lot more things that are tougher than doing this podcast. But the message gets out there. You have to do what is required, and you have to be willing to do what's required. Not you aren't going to get things on your terms. That just isn't going to happen. And to get that across to people is tough because there's so much. They have tons of ways of fucking distracting you. But you know what? Where are we at? In the intro, I said, looks like SBF, our little friend SBF, is going to the big house. The stuff I've been reading about the trial, which I look into a little bit, I'm not reading everything that's written about it. But this is not a great headline. Sam Bankman-Fried can't shut up. His word salad answers were almost 75% longer on average than his 3 FTX lieutenants. So this guy, because I don't know what makes him think he can talk his way out of it, but he can't talk his way out of it. When we know he came from MIT, we know MIT's doing the Project Hamilton, the digital dollar stuff. So the confluence between central banking and government and academia, he's in the middle of that. Everything's handed to him his entire life on a silver platter, whatever he wants. And he probably really thinks that he can just, he doesn't understand that everything's been set up for him. Like all he had to do was show up and he was gonna get everything you could ask for and more. And now, the reality is whatever FTX was, and I think it was an offshoot of Binance, which I 100% believe is CIA front organization, or the CIA fronted most of Binance. And they gave their blessing to SBF, and he thought, well, I can go out and do whatever I want to do. And he fucked up so bad that the government pulled back, and they said, okay, arrest this guy, put him in prison. And I think people said, oh, they dropped a bunch of charges. They dropped the political corruption charges. They dropped this and they dropped that. And I think, initially when you first saw that, I thought, oh, they're trying to protect the system. But I think ultimately the attorney general or whoever, not the attorney general, the federal prosecutors decided we got enough to put him away for like 115 years. We don't need all the rest of those charges. Like it's overload. So things are not looking good for Sammy. He's going to go bye-bye. He's not getting away with this because you cannot bring down the entire this new asset class of crypto, just by being a nothing scammer. He's going to be forgotten. This little roadblock on the way to a bright new future where you won't have to live like this. Here's another. This was one of those that, when I first saw it, I fucking lose my mind. And then I realized, you know what? This is just the way the future is going to be. So better off to just accept it and better off to prepare for it. Because, again, you're going to be living in a world that is as dystopian gets.
The state of Delaware is experimenting with a new type of child support in a form of a card, which works much like an EBT card.
Okay.
The child support card will prohibit parents from paying for certain items like gas, rent, and adult clothing.
Oh,
and
baby
liquor.
mama's gonna
and
be
liquor.
mad out there.
So even the brothers having a good laugh at that. The new EBT card will prohibit you for paying for rent. That means they're going to pay your rent. They're going to put gas in your car. Will they make your car payment? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe. Does GM need a bailout? Does Ford need a bailout? Does Dodge need a bailout? They might add that too. The money printer is going to go Weimar, right? There's no avoiding that. And since every girl in the ghetto is going to realize that if she swallows, she doesn't get any money. You know what I mean? But if she takes one for the team, she's going to get it. She's going to get a credit card that's going to be unlimited for the rest of her life. And that will incentivize a lot of behaviors that are not good, that are anti-civilizational. They're anti-civilizational. So the number of baby mamas in this world is going to grow exponentially, and they're going to keep printing money and printing money and printing money and printing money to give to them, because it will benefit the people at the top. And they will tell you, I don't know, man, they're just gonna gaslight you in ways like you can't fucking imagine. And people, I think, don't want to hear it when Bitcoiners say, fix the money, fix the world. You're like, oh, that's whatever. Listen, how else are you gonna fix it? A good plan today, fix the money, fix the world, beats a perfect plan next week. You know what I mean? Doing something that's likely to work now is a way better option than sitting around and waiting and hoping that perfection comes walking through the door. Because all of this, everything is driven by desire for gain and incentives, and to pretend that that is not true is to deny reality. This guy, I think I used to follow this guy on Facebook. It's a dude from Tennessee, a guy named Thomas Massey, explaining how shit in Congress really works.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out that members of Congress are expected to pay their party for their committee assignments. And this is like $200,000, $500,000 every election cycle just to get a certain committee seat. Now, where are you going to get that money? You're not going to go back home and have a fundraiser in somebody's living room. That just doesn't work. The people that fund your purchase of the committee seat are the people who have an interest in the work product of that committee, i.e. the lobbyists.
Every committee in the Congress has a letter grade associated with it, A, B, or C. That letter grade is solely lashed to that committee's ability to generate campaign cash for its members. If you're on the Ways and Means Committee and you have jurisdiction over the entire tax code, there is no lobbyist in this town that would not swim across the Potomac to deliver you a $5,000 PAC check.
All right. To point out that none of this is being hidden and there's nothing you can do about it. I don't say that to dishearten you, but to make it clear what your choices really are. Are you going to do what's necessary, or are you going to wait? Wait to be fucking rescued. There are people who don't understand this fucking ridiculous, over the top fucking response. I used to live on Staten Island. There's this video I saw on Instagram of these Staten Islanders. They're protesting that the city of New York is busing all the illegals that Texas is sending to Manhattan. Manhattan is sending to Staten Island, because Staten Island, for the longest time, used to be it's probably still is, the widest borough in the 5 boroughs. It is the smallest one, and was like the most middle class. It was, when I was a kid growing up on Staten Island, people would point at Manhattan and say the city. They would go the city, because Manhattan was the city. Did you get a job in the city? They did not consider themselves part of New York. And to be honest, New York doesn't consider Staten Island part of it. But these people are making some, a few local protests, and they're going out with the bullhorns and standing on the sidewalk, and they're getting a response that they don't really understand. Here's like 90 seconds of some not very smart New Yorkers struggling with the fucking current reality.
The mobilization is real, folks. The mobilization is real. They are here. They are present. This is what's headed down towards 111 Father Capodanno. The Parks Department has the lot number 9 closed down. The NYPD said it's the Parks Department, and got some mounted headed down that way right now.
What they
have is the parking lot blocked off directly across the street from 1111. What I was told is the Parks Department closed it off. And they also have an extra truck set up with more barricades on it. I guess they're expecting something, but there'll probably be about 5 jokers out here at best.
The United States Coast Guard has now entered Staten Island, New York. They are heavy. They are actually here to protect the illegal aliens and not to keep the oath that they took to protect United States citizens. Please do not forget what happened at Kent State University, where 4 innocent students lost.
All right, so dude, he's mixing up a bunch of different things going on there. But I know that area real well, and it's a beach area. And there's the big parking lot that they've blocked off is their staging area for all the equipment that they're going to bring in. The police and the feds are going to bring in all kinds of equipment to squash any sort of protests. And you think that's a pretty fucking heavy-handed response for a bunch of fucking suburbanites bitching and moaning on social media. But that's the world you live in. That is absolutely the world you live in. And, you know, no dissent at all will be tolerated at fucking all. And you will be gaslit non-fucking stop, like nonstop. I said this before that when I drive back from Virginia, I drive through Pennsylvania. And there's one point, there's a bridge I cross near Trenton, New Jersey, when I'm getting back into Jersey, getting close to home. The bridge is lit up with this neon sign that says, Trenton makes, the world takes, which is kind of a throwback to the 50s when Trenton used to have like a lot of tool and die factories and stuff there. And they used to make a lot of machinery products or machined products that were shipped all over the world. So that was like, Trenton was like a manufacturing hub back in the 50s or something. That's where that slogan comes from. And the only thing Trenton makes right now is, you know, a lot of gunfire, you know, ghettos everywhere. There's only like 2 blocks that you could even, that even look remotely nice, and they're all right near the government buildings. But I see that sign lit up every night when I, you know, when I drive past that bridge, and it's always yellow and blue, yellow and blue, yellow and blue. And that's how I know that the war in Ukraine is still going on. And the night that I pass by that bridge and it's not yellow neon and blue neon is the night I know that the Ukraine war is over. But it's going on until you know, they decide to stop it. And this at first I thought this next video, I thought this was a hysterical reaction, but it really isn't, because it made me think of that bridge. As soon as I saw this video, I was like, it took me a minute or two. I was like, yeah, this is just like that bridge, except they're doing this. They're doing this to everybody in real time.
McDonald's changed their packaging. Wow. What does that resemble? I'm just curious, what's with the new wrapping?
What's with the new wrapping?
Yeah, the blue and white.
That's the new one. They just changed the wrapping.
They just changed it. When did you guys get these?
Maybe like last week?
Last week, right? This is in support to kill Palestinian kids, this wrapping. Clearly, this is a big company. They should not be changing the wrapping on the side. Yeah, I know. This is not your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault. No. I'm not. I'm just really upset. I'm just really upset that I got my order and I got this flag.
Yes.
For my wrapping. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's upset and who's shocked to come to the drive-thru and receive this wrapping.
Yes.
So, you know, that woman, you can see she's a decent person. She says, you know, she's not blaming the employee. Obviously, you're flipping burgers for a living. You're gonna wrap the burgers in whatever they tell you to wrap it in. But the speed at which they're just gonna subtly alter the fucking environment so that you are so fucking gaslit that if you question anything, man, you are going to be one seriously lonely individual who is looked at like really like a complete lunatic. And the people you're up against, the reason why they can change it that fast is because they control all of the fucking money, and they have since 1688. This video I got, this next video is older. It's like from it's older video from either the 80s or the 90s. Some English chat show, and they're talking about, they end up talking about finance, and one guy, drops some truth bombs. He drops some real truth bombs, and the other two go like, "Oh man, that's dangerous." So here's what did I title this video? Since 1688, pretty informative, and a good way for you to understand that the only way forward is to fix the money.
UK got a finance curse?
Is it a trick question? Because the UK doesn't have finance. The City of London has, and it's not part of the UK.
Good answer. Good answer. It's international, he's right.
The City of London is outside the United Kingdom. Do you know that? It's really shocking. And therefore it's also not part of the EU, which explains although it couldn't be part of the EU because you have to have democratic elections, and the City of London doesn't, right? It's the banks that have the votes, right?
Right.
Per staff,
I never knew
How do you start unpicking this puzzle?
I never knew. That's a very useful piece of information.
And of course, it's not part of the UK.
It's a pretty dangerous piece of information.
And it's not part of the UK because the Queen is not allowed to enter without permission. She's not the sovereign, therefore it's not part of the UK. And of course that's since 1688.
I have to make a note.
Since the foreign invasion.
So Finance Bro dropping some red pills on the chat, and you see dudes like they start getting nervous, and that's nervous laughter, right? They're not laughing at him like he's a comedian. They're rubbing up against something that they understand could destroy them. Just participating in the conversation, and there's no way to fix this, right? Whether if you want to be like those dopes on Staten Island and have a protest and go out there with a bullhorn and yell at illegal aliens or whatever, they're gonna crush you. Like right now, it's with the Coast Guard and some cops on horses, but they will bring as much pressure to bear. They will bring as much force to bear that they deem necessary. And it will be someone who is really, really out of touch with how important any of this stuff is. But when I see stuff like this, I saw this fucking, I laugh so hard. It said, economists, central bankers are rethinking the quantitative easing strategy that saved the world. Thank God they saved the world, huh? That's really the money print that saved the world, but created bubbles and distortions. And so I think they understand that things are not good. You know what I mean? I think the people with money understand that shit is not good, and that the money printers, something's going to have to be done about the money print, or they're going to, in order to protect their wealth. And that is that's starting to be a concern, because the central bankers, listen, all those people you saw in that picture, they're just fucking puppets of the real central bankers, right? The people from the City of London. So all of those people, Jerome Powell, Christian Lagarde, whoever else was in that photo, they're all told what to do and what to say, and they do what they're told, and they say what they're told to say. And that's why being a Bitcoiner is the most positive thing you can be. When I saw this, I laughed fucking out loud. This maybe the biggest surprise, right? If you look at the screen, it says Bitcoin miners draw from Iceland's surplus of renewable energy. So, and you see a volcano spouting some lava in the background. So Iceland has geothermal power, right, which is basically free electricity. Volcanoes always going, always making shit hot. They turn, they take the hot lava or the heat from the lava, heat up some water, make it into steam, make that steam spin a turbine, and voila, free electricity. Well, Iceland has decided that they want to get in on this Bitcoin mining thing. And that now makes, in 2023, not one, but 2 countries that are using volcanoes to mine Bitcoin. And you could say, well, listen, the Iceland people, they're just trying to hustle a quick buck. They're just trying to jump in on the latest hot trend and make some money. Well, you could tell yourself that, and that's, who knows, maybe the people of Iceland, the government of Iceland, maybe that's what they think. Like, we'll just make a few quick bucks in tax revenue off these guys. But the thin edge of the wedge is in that country now. And this thing is a freedom virus. It's this thing is this money virus is a freedom virus, and I don't think people appreciate just how dangerous it is. Everybody's worried about COVID, and everybody's worried about some other stuff, but this freedom virus is now infected Switzerland. Right, the next screen share I got up. This was from a couple of days ago. This Swiss company wants to use excess energy from food production to mine Bitcoin. So when I sit here and tell you that Bitcoin's going to take over the world, and that Bitcoin is taking over the world, there's 2 little things. Now, is that Swiss? It's a Swiss hotel chain called, I don't know what it is. It's apparently in Switzerland, there's a hotel chain that also has some sort of food production facility, some kind of farming facility. But everybody's looking at this. This is on the minds of a lot of people, and it's creeping in everywhere, and there ain't a fucking thing they can do about it. The only thing that they can try to do about it is this: they put out what we call FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and it says these stories that are never going to work on a real Bitcoin maxi. For somebody who just heard about crypto 6 months ago, and they're buying fucking Dogecoin or fucking Pepe coin or some fucking shit coin, and they think they're going to get rich, this article probably holds weight with them. But for me, I just laugh at this, right? It said, should you cash in on your I'm sorry, you should cash in. Why you should cash in your Bitcoin for a CD, a certificate of deposit. So you've taken your ever weakening cuck bucks and bought Bitcoin with it. Bitcoin does well, and you think, oh boy, I better get out before this bubble bursts and get back into that US dollar. Well, tell me you don't understand Bitcoin without telling me you don't understand Bitcoin. But that's the only way forward. If you show up with a bullhorn and protest, they're gonna send at first like the Coast Guard and some nothings, but eventually they will squash you. They will deplatform you. There are people all over. You've probably seen on social media. They spoke out against the invasion of Gaza by the Israelis. They lost their job. They lost their internship. They get kicked out of college. There is no way. The only way to fix any of this shit, if you want to fix it, if you're not happy with it, is to just start living in a different system, and that's a lot harder to do than for a lot of people than it was for me. But it's every day as shit gets worse and worse and worse. People are going to be forced into doing this because the fucking magnitude of this fuck up that sooner or later is going to happen. I think is going to be like, it's going to be in the history books. America, which is a nation that suffers from fucking obesity more than anything else, now has this problem.
Grocery stores across America are now losing money, a major warning signal for the economy. With Albertsons, the second largest grocery chain in America with 2,300 retail stores, reporting that their net income just crashed by 30% year over year. Which is crazy, right? Because food inflation is at an all-time high. The price of eggs, the price of beef, the price of everything in the supermarket has gone up. So how is it that grocery stores are making less money? You can actually see that the grocery stores are making more revenue year over year. However, their cost of sales, the amount that they pay for all the items on the shelves, has gone up by roughly the same amount. In addition, their administrative and payroll expenses have also increased. And ultimately, this is why inflation sucks, everyone, because even though people are paying more money for eggs at the grocery store actually isn't making more money themselves. And that's how you end up seeing layoffs and an economic downturn from inflation.
Yeah, so there's that's Real Estate Bro, right? Real Estate Bro, apparently, when he's not talking about real estate crashing, he stops in the supermarket every now and then and buys some eggs and beef. And he pays attention to what's happening in, I guess, I've never even heard of Albertsons. I've never seen them. I've never seen them in any of the states I travel to. But supposedly the second largest supermarket chain in America, and they're not making money, right? So if they're fucking up the simplest of fucking things, you know, there's no the escape that you think is out there is not out there, right? There's only one escape. It's not the outer space, it's the cyberspace. That escape is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the fucking escape hatch. You just have to you have to come to that conclusion yourself, and then start making decisions. Because if you think you're going to be like, I saw this just to bust that keep up to balls, or anybody who's like the precious metal people. Here's what you can't do with precious metals.
मिक्स नहीं है मैं जा रहा हूँ.
So you got the Indian bros sitting around trying to figure out how to smuggle gold out of India into somewhere else. And they decide to melt it down into those tiny little ingots and put it in a fucking jar of peanuts and candy and smuggle it out as fucking snacks, right? Now, somebody probably ratted them out. That's because I don't think that their customs guys are that good that they would catch that stuff. But even a tiny amount of, I don't know how much gold that was. What was that? Maybe a half an ounce? How much could that be? You're not getting it across the border. But you know, the thing is, if you have one of these, you know what I mean? If you have one of these, and even if they take it from you, it doesn't matter, because there's a 12-word seed phrase you can use to get your Bitcoin back from anywhere, even if they take your hardware device, and you don't even need to bring the device with you. Which, by the way, they can't even break into. They can't hack them. So you could take this, put it around your fucking neck as jewelry, and go right through the fucking metal detector, and they would never know. Or you could just write it down on a sheet of paper. You could write down on a scrap of paper everything you fucking need and go anywhere, and no one would even think to stop you. Take it, you know, put the scrap of paper in a book, put the book in your luggage. They're gonna go like this. As long as no $100 bills fall out, they're just gonna let it go. They're not gonna be looking for scraps of paper. And you can make 10 scraps of paper, 9 of which are fucking decoys, and 1 of which is the real one. They'll never be able to find it. But you can't do that with a lot of other things. The safety and security of your future comes from putting your wealth in cyberspace where they can't steal it from you. And they cannot inflate it away from you. It is not noble to sit around and wait, you know, for someone else to come in and fix things. I mean, most people You know, and this is normies think, oh, well, just elect Trump, we'll put this one or that one in, or whatever. They're looking for we'll put this guy in charge, and then, you know, we'll just put different people in charge of the money printer, and then magically things will get better. And it doesn't matter who's in charge of the money printer. Like, it just doesn't matter. They're going to make themselves richer and everyone else poorer every fucking time. There's no way around that. Because there's nothing to stop them. So I don't think it's a good idea to play a game you can't fucking win, right? I just don't think that's a very good idea at all. You know, with me, you know, with my fucking heart attack, listen, what am I going to work 65-hour weeks to spend all my money on fucking doctors to give me a fucking report of what my cholesterol is? And then I got to fucking torture myself that, you know, why did I eat that fucking barbecue chicken? Fuck that shit. No way. I'm not living life like that. You know what I mean? I go do what I want to do. I do my fucking workouts, and I'm flourishing because I just reject that whole premise. I'm not looking to other people for their for them to fix me. I'll fix it myself. You know, you realize that no one's coming to save you, and now you have to save yourself. Now you have to save yourself. And, you know, it sucks and it's scary as fuck, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else for you. No one's coming to save you, right? And as harsh as that sounds, you know, trust me, you can adapt to it, and then you'll find that you can do stuff that you didn't think you could do previously. You will find that you have abilities and attitudes you didn't even know existed. But with that, where are we at? We're at like 51, 52 minutes. Yeah, the year end is probably going to go pretty good for me, and certainly next year is going to be good. So at least materially, unless I hit a fucking deer or some shit, which fingers crossed. That's like literally my biggest fear. That's something that's out of my control. A stupid fucking deer runs across the highway and I hit it. That's the biggest threat to me. Other than that, everything's going pretty well because I know what I want to do and why I want to do it. What I want to do is peacefully and legally destroy the Federal Reserve note, also known as the US dollar. And the way I'm going to do it is turn ever weakening dollars into ever strengthening Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to do. So I have a clear plan. So when I see the Israel flag on the fucking McDonald's wrapper and everything else, like, you know, it makes my blood boil, and all the stuff you see on social media, it makes my blood boil just as much as it makes your blood boil. But I remind myself that I have a specific mission, and that mission is to bring the date of hyper Bitcoinization as close as we can. Like bring it here faster, and that's what I work to do. That's what I focus. I smash up the buy button. I use that Bitcoin credit card, and I understand that it doesn't maybe look like I have a large effect on the world, but I've had a large effect on my own life. So you know what? It puts me in a position where I can keep it going. And I think everyone else should do that. But you got to make your own choices. Anyway, with that, I pretty much ran through everything I wanted to run through. Yeah, but that Iceland thing like really made me laugh. Hopefully the grocery stores don't close where you are. You don't go to some protest and get shot by a Coast Guardsman with an itchy trigger finger. You understand that this problem goes back centuries and it's all based on money. It's all based on your ability to buy and sell. I'll do that thing I was thinking about. I should have saved this for next week. Fuck it. I don't remember the name of the island. I should have Googled. There's actually an island off the coast of Greece that I can't, where the guy who wrote the Book of Revelations, you remember the biblical thing, the Book of Revelations, where and I saw the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and the beast came out and did this and did that. And they were talking about the mark of the beast. You're going to have like a 666 on your wrist, and you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast, right? Everybody, I don't know if you remember that. Anybody with a sort of even a basic outline of the Bible knows that one. And the reason why I wanted to show the pictures of the island where the book of Revelations was written is fucking gorgeous. It's a fucking Greek island, for Christ's sake. You're living on a Greek island, and all you're thinking about is pestilence, war, and death. It shows how deeply sick the guy was who wrote that. But the mark of the beast, for those of you who are religious minded, the mark of the beast is about not being able to buy or sell. Even way back then, in a bunch of lunatic fucking Hebrews looking to destroy the Roman Empire, they understood the importance of being able to buy and sell without permission. It's in your Bible, bro. So if you want to avoid having to ask permission from some, from Satan to buy a fucking loaf of bread, maybe you should Bitcoin. Maybe, just maybe, you should Bitcoin. I'd love to meet like one of those religious Bitcoiner people and find out if they ever made that connection. I'll look for it on social media. I don't know if I'll find it, but I would be tickled as hell if people who were worried about the apocalypse and getting tattooed with the 666 or getting an implant chip or whatever the fuck, if the religious people amongst them see Bitcoin as some sort of literally anti-Satan technology. Which, like I've said in the past, man, if that's the way you want to view it, cool. I can work with that. All right, 56 minutes, 49 seconds. Virgil Doc Purple Heart, thanks for showing up. Whoever else, the lurkers in the chat, everyone that's going to come in the next week or 2 weeks or in the coming week. I noticed the view count has been dropping off drastically. That's good. But once the price of Bitcoin pumps, everyone's going to come back. We all know how that works. But until then, until next week, I will say thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you guys again next week.